Good afternoon, everyone. This is just a little Friday food for thought PSHE style lesson. It shouldn't take you too long. I just want you to have a little think about it, really. So, on Wednesday, England were in the semi finals of the European Cup and we beat Denmark 2-1. Whether you watched it or not, this is just a little highlight about the football, but not so much about the sport itself, but about the emotions and the ethos and the teamwork that goes into the football. So there's lots of things that we can learn from this match, definitely. Whether you're into football or not is something that we're going to look at today. Okay, so the first thing I need you to do is click on the link that will be on Dojo. So it's the one that you can see on the screen now, and it's going to take you to a video that's going to be all about the highlights from the football match. Not necessarily the highlights of who scored and when, but more so the emotions and the vibe and the teamwork that both sides are showing. So I want you to have a little look at that. And I want you to look out for these things. I want you to look out for the feeling of elation, delight, joy, pride, care, trust, determination, camaraderie, which means like teamwork, hyping each other up to do the best that they can. Very similar to team spirit. Oh, which I've noticed I've just spelled team spirit. So ignore that. Team spirit. Dignity in defeat. So that's very important. Obviously, we beat Denmark, but they weren't very sore about it. They weren't saying, oh no, they lied, they're cheating. They kind of took it on the chin. They were obviously very upset, but they showed dignity in their defeat. So they were still very proud and they were still obviously very happy to be there. And I want you to look out for those things. And how do we know that our players and these players were feeling all these different types of emotions, okay? So at the end of the video, I want you to either discuss with somebody or write down or think about the characteristics you saw from the England team, okay? Um, so when we were 1-0 down right at the beginning of the match, how did it change England's kind of pride, um, their feelings, their emotions, their team spirit? How did that affect them? Like, what did you suddenly see when we saw that we were 1-0 down? How did that change the way that the boys were playing? Okay, I want you to have a little think about it. Would have it been easier to just give up because they were failing and they'd lost at that point? Or did they come back harder, stronger, obviously, to win the game? We can think about that when we look at our lessons. Yes, we have very difficult lessons in year 5, and it's going to get even harder in year 6. That's just the way it happens. As you grow up, things get harder. And England saw that today. As they got closer to the final, their competitors were better. Things got harder for them. They had to play their best. And they had a little setback in around the 30th minute when the Denmark scored for that free kick. However, they didn't just think, oh, I give up, not going to play now for the rest of it. They realised what it would be worth in the long run and they carried on, okay? They didn't sit back and fail. And just because obviously they're representing their country and they're failing, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop. And if you're failing at something, if you decide that, oh, I can't do it, or I lost at something, you're not going to sit back and relax. No, you're not representing your country, you're representing something even better, something even more important, because you're representing yourself. You're representing your future and you're representing what you can be if you decide to carry on going. So, yes, it's important to be on that track with the team spirit and to keep going, okay? So, my question to you is, what can we learn from the team spirit that England showed on Wednesday? I want you to write a few sentences down about what we can learn from what happened on Wednesday and how that can be kind of manipulated, or how it can be transferred into our lives and into our working establishment within school. How can it change? How can we adapt that team spirit into school, okay? I want you to have a little think about that, because next week when we have our sports day PE session, team spirit is going to be very important, okay? So write a couple of sentences for me, and I'd love to see what your thoughts are.